Hey, Void. Alright, so, story time. Bad Ben. I had not heard of Bad Ben at all until someone in the comments actually was noted they'd be curious on what I would think of it. So, I saw this comment and thought, hey, it's pretty much my first request. I since have done like another request for Howl, and later we'll probably be doing one for Whir, but just haven't gotten to those because I was working through my backlog. However, Bad Ben, having been one I hadn't heard of, kind of intrigued me. So, I went to IMDb and, oh, there's a lot of them. IMDb listed 12 and a 13th in development, so, holy freak show. I'm not even sure if all of them are listed there, because I don't think all of them are. But, this is big. There's a lot of Bad Ben. So, and from what I could tell, it seemed to be a Paranormal Activity adjacent film. Okay, sure. I could be in for that. But as I looked through some of the titles, I got the impression that this wasn't something very serious, particularly since one of the more recent ones was like something to do with Dracula. And then there's aliens in one of them, a clown in another. I was like, what am I getting into here? You know, whatever. I'll give it a look. See what it is. So, I tried to track it down. Now, me, I'm a physical release kind of guy. So, it looked like there were some ones, but I'll say maybe there's a collection of this thing. Well, the site had a big, like a flash drive, which had most of the films on it. Like, I prefer a disc than a flash drive. And then I saw that Bad Ben has its own streaming service at badben.com. So I put in my information to see if there's a free trial or how much it is, and it was more than I was willing to pay for a streaming service just dedicated to a movie I had never seen, and I wasn't holding a lot of hope out for it being that good because of how some of the corny the titles got along the ways. So, I just kind of put a pin in it and figured I'd get back to it later. Then finally I get an email from that, because occasionally I get updates from productions on they're working on their 14th one. So, I get an email saying a Blu-ray collection was available in limited quantities. So, Phoebe Rizzo got him some Bad Ben. Okay. So, I have now watched a couple of these, but we'll just talk about the first, Bad Ben. And actually, it's pretty good. You know? I was not expecting it to be as well done as it was. The impression I got is this was pretty much a one-man show of a man who just saw Paranormal Activity, decided I can do that, and did it. And, you know? He did pretty well. Nigel Bach, I don't know how his name is actually pronounced, and I apologize if he, for some reason, sees this, if I'm mispronouncing that, but Nigel plays our lead character, then Tom Riley, and pretty much our only character in this movie. So, he's pretty much just bought a house at an auction, and it's going to pretty much put in all his money into it and wants to flip it. However, as he moves in, and strange things start happening. First, he thinks he's just being messed with by ruffians or people trying to rob the place. But as he bought the house wholesale and it was completely furnished, cool. He's quite happy to take all that and see about if he can turn it into more of a profit. And however, he takes down the religious paraphernalia, and from there, weird things start happening, and there's already a bunch of cameras hooked up, so, well, he gets those turned back on, with the exception of, well, one in the basement that he can't even access. And so, he begins seeing strange things happening, and he starts trying to figure out what's going on. Now, a lot of it is pretty standard. But the thing that really sells it is Nigel's portrayal of Tom. Tom's cranky. I'm not gonna be scared. I've got too much money losing on this. Well, just he pretty much just tells the ghost to fuck off. I gotta then and keeps going about his day. And that really sells this. It was enjoyable watching him interact with these things. He even for me he got better in the third one when his character reappears. But in this one, he's got some good lines. Some of them are a little 50-50, but mostly when he's just interacting with the ghosts or talking to the camera about them, it's pretty good. And pretty much he discovers a small grave site out in the back with a the little music box, and he starts using it to communicate with someone he learns is Ben, and essentially finds later a drawing which shows good Ben and bad Ben. So, yeah. And for the most part, it's him trying to deal with this and things slowly, essentially getting worse as it goes along. It's definitely entertaining. I was enjoying this a lot more than I was expected to. Then when I saw like later whether it's like the Dracula Experiment or Alien Agenda for later films in this collection, I was like, really? But I think it's the humor of this that kind of keeps growing along the way. Like the third movie, it really starts kind of shifting more in that to horror comedy. This one is mostly straight up just horror in this genre, but definitely with the charisma of Tom Riley, it elevates it to have kind of a bit of a bite to it, and I like that. Now, there isn't really like soundtrack to this, so I can't really rate it on that. And Nigel's pretty much using his own home in the movie, so it's very low budget, but there isn't really any effects that need to be shown, and other than some moving furniture. So it does a good job working with his obviously non-existent budget to do his own just movie, and yeah, he does a pretty good job with it. I'd actually give this one a good 7 MacGuffins. I did enjoy this. I did like Bad Ben. So, yeah, I actually recommend checking out this if you are interested. I will be going through the entirety of the series eventually. Don't know if I'll get to all of it right off. But I have now viewed the first 3, so more of those are coming along soon. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Bad Ben. Cool. See you later, Floyd.